learn to speak life to yourself. You need to speak life to your business. You need to speak life, my friend. And I'm telling you, as you speak, I'm telling you, you shall receive. All righty, here we go. So I'm going to talk to you. You know, Brother Bob was telling me about what you all do here. And I was like, man, that is so powerful. And I'm so excited about the way you folks have been growing, and for Bob to put together this time where you can be trained along with the senior partners and so forth. And so I just want to pour into your life. So let me just tell you up front, I was just a nobody that God and I made into a somebody. And now I'm committed to telling everybody he can do the same and a whole lot more for anybody. Let me say it again. I was a nobody, but God and I made me into a somebody. And don't get it twisted. I said God and I. Why? Because God wants to be co-laborers. He wants us to be co-laborers and work together. So a lot of people, they'll say, I'm waiting on God. I'm like, no. God's waiting on you. So God wants to be co-laborers, work together with us. And so here's the thing. The arrogant man says, I did it. The religious man says, God did it. But the kingdom-minded man says, God did it through me. All righty? The kingdom-minded woman says, God did it through me. And so that's what my newest book is all about, my friend, that God's wanting to do business through you in your life, my friend. I'm talking about doing business God's way with God's blessing. Listen, again, if you do business like the world, you can get the world's results. But when you do business based on God's word, you can get supernatural results. Who would like to have regular results versus who would like to have supernatural results? Let me go ahead and type in myself. Supernatural results. Okay. Who else is like that? Boom, there you go. All right, there you go. Oh, Bob, I'm talking to the right group right here. Come on. Oh, yeah, there you go. Supernatural results. There you go. That's right. That's right. See, when you have supernatural, when you have regular results, then business is okay or business is good. But when you have supernatural results, business is booming and checks are zooming, and you'll be happy on purpose.
I think we can agree that we're having supernatural results that we haven't even launched to the world yet.
Come on now. There you go. Awesome. So there you go. So again, my friend, this is powerful. This is powerful. So I want you to understand this. So I'm going to cover a lot of ground tonight, but I want to give you some tangible things that you can sink your teeth into. So out of 8.2 or 3 billion people in the world, there's only 4 categories of people. Okay. So somebody in the chat, out of 8.2 billion people, Dr. Breakthrough said, how many categories of people? Doesn't matter what color, what class, what country, what continent. There's only how many? There you go. Right. 4. I'm going to give you those 4 categories of people. Another time, Brother Bob, I had to come back and teach on those, but I just want to mention them, and that'll be a launching pad for what I want to teach about tonight. So here's the 4 categories. Number 1, get this now. So let me set it up first. Every master was once a mess, or at best mediocre. Okay, so let me set it up here. Every master was once a mess, or at best mediocre. Therefore, every mess or mediocre person can one day be a master. Now, whenever a mess or mediocre person becomes a master, you now have a message that if you market to the masses, you can make millions. Now, that's my story. So here's the 4 categories. Number 1, those, get this now, those who are mess or mediocre, but don't know or don't believe that they can be a master. Okay. Category number 1, that's those who, again, don't know or don't believe. So they're mess or they're mediocre, but they don't know or they don't believe that they can become a master. And I used to be like that. I used to look at people and say, man, how do they do all that? I could never be like that, especially in martial arts. I used to see people breaking boards and bricks and all that. I was like, I could never do that, right? So I was a mess at the time. And but guess what? I didn't believe that I could be a master. Now today I'm a grandmaster, right? So what happened? I'm telling you, I went through the steps. So the first group, again, is those who are a mess or mediocre, but they don't even know or they don't believe that they can be a master. Category number 2, okay? Category number 2, those who are mess or mediocre and they're on their way to becoming a master. You see the difference? The first group, a mess or mediocre, they don't know or don't believe that they can be a master. In other words, they just think hey, what's going to happen is going to happen. I can't do anything about it. I'll never be anything. I'll never, right? But the second group are those who are a mess or at best mediocre, but they're working toward becoming a master, right? And I think that's what most of you on this line tonight. The third group are those who are masters. In other words, they've mastered the craft, right? So that's that third group. But the fourth group are those who are masters who messed up and are now in the remaking. Okay. So four categories. Number one, those who are mediocre, but don't know or believe they can be a master. Group two, those who are mess or mediocre who are working to become masters. Group three, those who have made it to be masters. And then group four, those who are masters, but who messed up. And now they're in the process of being remade. So they're in the process of remaking. As a matter of fact, I often use this illustration of a ball. And life's going to throw you down, by the way. Listen, but here's what you got to learn to do. I like to say the breakthrough is when you learn to bounce back even better. Come on, somebody. Because I know some of you are hurting right now. I know some of you are in turmoil right now, but I've come to tell you, I don't care how low you go. I don't care how much pain you're in now. You can actually bounce back even better. The breakthrough for you is to bounce back even better. So as life takes you, my friend, and throws you down, you just come back up. And it throws you down again, my friend. The harder it throws you down, guess what? The harder you bounce up, right? And it keeps throwing you. You just keep on bouncing, my friend. And that's, my friend, that's how you get to be a master. See, so many people never make it to being a master because life throws them down. They're like, you know what? I'm tired. Every time I try to get up, I just keep getting. No, listen. This is good. Somebody will write this down. A setback is not just a setup for a comeback, but a setup paves the way for a comeback. Wow. Let me say that again, man. Hold on a second once. Man, Doc, that's good, man. Say that again. I appreciate that, brother. I'm taking you with me everywhere I go. Okay, let me say it again. I said a setback is not just a setup for a comeback, but a setback will actually pave the way for a comeback. See, within your pain is hidden power that could be harnessed to profit you and others and actually produce a profit. So I'll tell you a little bit about my story. So when I was a little 3-year-old boy, just 3 years of age, dad left home, never called, never sent mom a dime, never anything. And didn't see him, he never sent any money, never called. But listen, but then when I was 6 years of age, I'm out in the middle of a field playing. Now, I see a gang of teenagers come my way. Man, I'm scared to death. Because they don't have smiles on their face. In the chat, talk to me. Has your body ever given you a signal that something bad's about to happen? Like you couldn't put your finger on, but something bad is about to happen. Give me a 1 in the chat if you ever had that. A 1 in the chat. Oh, somebody said many times, too many. Okay, give me a 1. Right. And so I see these teenagers and they're not smiling and I'm scared to death. I'm just a little 6-year-old boy and I start to shake a little bit and all of a sudden a guy grabs me and bam, punches me in the stomach. Man, and I was trying, you ever had the air knocked out of you before? In other words, you're trying to breathe, but you can't. I mean, I'm a little 6-year-old boy. I'm trying to breathe. And then I'm a 6-year-old boy. It only should take one teenager to beat up a 6-year-old boy, but it's about 6 or 7 of them. And they start punching all over me and punching me. And then one of them picks me up and slams me on the ground. And then they start stomping on me like I'm an ant or a roach. Man, I'm crying out, help, help, mom, somebody help. I'm screaming, I'm crying. It's a 6-year-old boy. They're stomping on me. And they kick me. And I'm bleeding. Imagine, I'm a 6-year-old boy. I'm scared to death. I'm crying out and I'm bleeding from everywhere you can bleed. And that wasn't enough for these guys. One of them flipped me over on my back where I'm faced up. They took a great big old bucket of tar and poured it on my face and they poured it on my body. Then they took a bunch of feathers and they threw them on me and literally left me there to die in the middle of a field. 6-year-old boy, wasn't messing with anybody. Thank God. Thank God somebody finally found me, rushed me to the hospital. Of course, the tar wasn't hot, but it was thick. And so I almost suffocated because I couldn't breathe, of course, couldn't open my eyes, of course, and couldn't open my mouth, right? And and I'm having to put fingers in my nose so I could breathe. But they got me taken care of. But I just remember Man, my life was just a mess. Listen, I don't have time to go through all the details, but I've been through physical abuse and verbal abuse and sexual abuse. And matter of fact, it was so bad, I tried to commit suicide on 2 occasions before I was even 12 years of age. I just have given up on life. I was hopeless. And I heard also, you dumb kid, you'll never amount to be anything. I'm thinking, man, there's no hope for me. I just might as well kill myself. And by the way, if you're one of those people that are contemplating suicide, you probably heard it said that suicide is a permanent solution for a temporary problem. Listen, my friend, don't take your life. I'm telling you, if I'd have taken my life back then, I'd have never lived to speak in all 50 states and 28 countries. I spoke and listened, driven and traveled over 3 million miles and spoken over 3 million people, my friend. I'm living the life of my dreams, even beyond my dreams. I'd have missed it all if I'd have taken my own life. So I beg you, my friend, just hold on. Matter of fact, the word hope, write this word hope down. I'll give you an acronym for hope, HOPE. Hope stands for hold on, pain ends. Say it again. Hold on, pain ends. Some of you in pain right now seem like it'll never know. No. Hold on, pain ends. Hope, HOPE. Not just hold on, pain ends, but here's another word. Ready? Here's another acronym that I put together. Have only positive expectations. Ooh, come on, somebody. See, I've been hurt so much in life, I just started expecting everything else. You ever heard of Murphy's Law? Everything bad that can happen will happen. It will happen at the worst possible time. I was driving down the highway one day. Matter of fact, I talk about my book, Your Breakthrough is Guaranteed, 7 Simple Steps to Your Success, that Les Brown wrote the afterword for. But I was talking about how I was driving down the highway and I pulled my car over and I opened up the door. Walked over, opened up the passenger door, and I'm on the highway and I screamed to the top of my lungs, get out! Get out. And guess what? I kicked Murphy out of my car. Number one, I didn't like Murphy's Law. Number two, I didn't like the way it's affected my life. And number three, I'm like, I don't even know who this Murphy guy is anyway. So I said, I'm kicking him out. I'm tired of all this. I'm gonna write my own law. So I wrote my own law. Okay. Well, somebody like that, should I give you want to hear my Dr. Breakthrough's law? Because I used to live by Murphy's Law, now I live by Dr. Breakthrough Law. You ready? Who wants to hear Dr. Breakthrough's Law in the chat? Come on. Give me a 3 if you want to hear Dr. Breakthrough's Law. Give me a 3. There you, okay, good. There you go. Here it is. Ready? Everything good that can happen will happen. And it will happen at the best possible time, even though I may not always recognize it at that time. Ooh, somebody will write that one down. I said, everything good that can happen will happen, and it will happen at the best possible time, even though I may not recognize it at that time, and usually I don't. But the good book says all things work together. Not all things are good, but all things work together for good to those who love God. See, in Genesis chapter 50 and verse 20, Joseph's brothers who had put him in a pit, first they was going to kill him, his older brothers, they put him in a pit. And then they decide, no, we're not going to kill him, let's go. But he gets sold down in Egypt as a slave, so forth. Now he's in top of the world. He's the second in command. And even Pharaoh, the guy who's ahead of him, he gets the mentor. He's the father to Pharaoh, so he's really the number one guy. And they fall before him, they're scared to death. And he says in Genesis 50:20, you meant it for evil, but God meant it for good. In other words, what you thought. So I'm telling you, this attitude, Dr. Breakthrough's Law, everything good that can happen will happen. Thank you, Bob, for putting that in there. Everything good that can happen will happen, and it will happen at the best possible time, even though I may not recognize it at that time. And the key is sometimes I usually don't. But after a while, so here's what I'm saying, my friend. So hope, again, hold on, pain ends. Hope, have only positive expectations. You know what I found out? Because I've been so beat down in life, I was having bad expectations, and now the bad stuff was coming because I was expecting. Matter of fact, something good happened. I'm like, nah, that ain't gonna last. I just know it ain't. Anybody like that? Anybody like something good happens? You're like, I mean, I was so down and messed up. I was like, well, that ain't gonna last, right? And then something bad happens. I'm like, okay, well, I was expecting it anyway, right? I was like, no, let me get a breakthrough. Let me turn that thing around. Now, my friend, something good happens. I'm like, Yeah, that's what I was expecting. Something not so good happens. I'm like, I'm gonna find the good in this somewhere. It's in here somewhere, or it's gonna motivate me. It's gonna move me. It's gonna cause me. So again, every day, everything good that can happen, it will happen, and it will happen at the best possible time, even though I may not recognize it at that time, and usually I don't. So I was talking to Bob about the business concept that you all have, and you know, there's a lot of things that I do, and I travel all over speaking for different companies now. And by the way, if I'd have killed myself years ago, I would have never lived to be voted into the Black Belt Hall of Fame, which now there's about 210th degree black belts, and I'm one of those. If I'd have killed myself years ago, and if I'd have given up hope, then I would have never been voted into the Motivational Speakers Hall of Fame. And by the way, I've been paid as much as $1,000 per minute. Don't worry, y'all get a discount tonight. But I'm saying this, my friend. I'm saying, see, you can't see things now. So listen, so listen, here's what I'm telling you. Even when you can't see and when you don't believe in you, you got to learn to believe in other people's belief in you until your own belief kicks in. So I feel like I'm a debtor. People believed in me and people saw things in me. And so, my friend, I want you to know I believe in you and I see things in you. And you say, wait a minute, but Doc, you don't even know me. Well, listen, we got people in this country that can't stand or hate people that they don't even know and never met. So if they could do that, then I can believe in you, even though we've never met. Hello, come on, somebody. But I'm a debtor. People believed in me, and that helped me. Listen, I never even thought I could do stuff, but people believed in me, and I didn't want to let them down. So I thought I'll give it a shot. I'll give it a shot. And I was shocked when it worked. And after doing it over and over again, one day I said, well, why not just go ahead and believe in me, right? And that's what I want for you. So again, hope. Hold on, pain ends. Hope. Have only positive expectations. You know how you build a big business? You expect to build a big business. Remember, YES, you expect success. Yes, YES, you expedite success. YES, watch it. Here's the third YES, you embody success. See, you keep saying yes long enough, you start embodying success. But then the more you do that, then the more other people start saying yes to you, my friend. So yes, this month of February, gonna get a bunch of yeses. So I looked at the business concept that you have. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to learn to be what I call two things I'm going to talk to you about, two concepts. Concept number one is a consumerpreneur. Consumerpreneur, okay? So just like a consumerpreneur at the end, Preneur, okay? Consumerpreneur. And then if I have time, I'll close out with kingdompreneur, right? But consumerpreneur, let me break this down, because if you all get this, I'm telling you, you got something that's a movement that literally, my friend, I'm not just talking about just grabbing the world and having all kind of clients and customers, but I'm talking about a movement that changes the world and changes. So watch this. We were trained from the time we were small to be consumers. Now, what's a consumer? That is somebody that just buys things. And so the infomercials on TV, the commercials, the magazines, all this is made to cause us to want to buy things. Matter of fact, who'll be honest like me and say, have you ever, before the, say you want to get check, you're working your job and the check's coming in at the end of the month, end of the week, or 2 weeks in, how many of you already knew of something you wanted to buy? You said, as soon as that check comes in, or as soon as that money comes in, I'm going to buy this, or I'm going to buy that. Have you ever, let me put yes in there, because I'm there first, okay? Who's ever experienced that where you had money coming in, and before the money even made it, you already knew what you were going to buy? Okay, there you go. Right. So let me tell you how God used my beautiful wife, I call her my ABCD. That stands for Adorable Brown Caramel Delight. We were at the restaurant the other day. Bob, the guy said, would you like some dessert? And I said, no, sir. I pointed to my wife. I said, I bought my dessert with me, 100% natural. But when we got married many years ago, I'm like, man, this beautiful woman, it's going to cost me an arm and a leg. And I gladly pay. Don't get me wrong. I gladly pay. But you marry a beautiful woman, it's going to cost you, right? And so as soon as we get married, my wife shocks me. My wife, her name is Nadia. She shocks me. Many people don't even know her. They say, we just know her as ABCD, but her name is Nadia, Nadia. But Nadia, she said to me, first of all, she said, you're my king. I was like, oh, no, don't talk like that. She said, no, you're my king. Matter of fact, when you call her on her phone, when it rings, it'll have my pitch and it'll say my king. And that's a whole nother training we do another time. But anyway, but she said this, we don't want to ever spend money. I was like, ooh, like, man, I done married this beautiful woman. I said, she don't want to spend money. I was like, man, I hit the jackpot of all jackpots. She said, we don't ever want to spend money. We only want to circulate money. Now, somebody write that in the chat. Circulate money. I'm going to tell you what that means in a minute. So I said to her, I said, wait a minute. So we don't want to spend money. We only want to circulate money. I said, that sounds real good, but like, what does that mean? And here's what she said. She said, when you spend money, it's gone forever, never to return. I said, that sounds permanent, right? She said, but on the other hand, baby, when we circulate money, that money goes out, but it comes back. A never-ending cycle of increase and enjoyment. I was like, wow, say that again. She said, baby, she said, when you spend money, she said, it's gone, never to return. She said, but when you circulate money, the money goes out and it comes back, a never-ending cycle of increase and enjoyment. She said, in other words, it's almost like your money's having babies. Come on, somebody. And it keeps, I said, wow. So from now on, here's what I said. In the Harris household, we're going to look for ways that we can circulate the money that God allows us to be stewards over. Let me say it again. I said, from now on in the Harris household, instead of spending money, we're going to look for ways from now on to circulate our money. It goes out and comes back, a never-ending cycle of increase and enjoyment. By the way, how many of you love the sound of that, circulate, where it goes out and comes back, a never-ending cycle of increase and enjoyment? By the way, when your outgo is more than your income, that's your downfall. Oh, let me say it again. When you're spending, when your outgo is more than your income, that's your downfall. So again, my friend, we want you to understand the powerful concept that you're involved in and that you need to be telling the world about, my friend. And that is this: since everybody in the world, they're consumers, and I keep wanting people to be a kingdompreneur, and I'll break that down to you in a minute. But God says, but work with people where they are. So if they're already consumers, then teach them how to be a consumerpreneur. Okay, so because entrepreneur is one who makes money, right? But a consumer is just buying, they're just spending. So what do? Well, we can leverage. Here it is. This is a powerful word. It's called leverage. There's a guy named Archimedes years ago said, if I had a lever long enough and a prop strong enough, he said, I could single-handedly move the world. So here's what I'm going to tell you. With this powerful concept that you're part of, I want you to know I'm going to be training you all as much as I can. You're going to be, everybody can't be the CEO, Chief Executive Officer. And everybody can't be the CFO, Chief Financial Officer. And everybody can't be a CBO, Chief Breakthrough Officer. But everybody, I said everybody, can be a CLO. Write that down. Chief Leveraging Officer. See, Archimedes said if I had a lever long enough and a prop strong enough, I could single-handedly move the world. The power of leverage. John Paul Getty said it best. You've heard it, I'm sure. He said, I'd rather get 1% of the efforts of 100 people than 100% of my own efforts. Why? Because if all my income's based on me and what I do, if something happens to me, I don't have any income. But if just 1% of my income's based on me and what I do, and the other 99, or the bulk of it, is based on what other people do, then if something happens to me, if I get sick, if I go down for a little bit, guess what? Most of my income is still coming in. What is he saying? I want to leverage. See, the problem is when you spend, you're being leveraged by somebody else. But when you learn to circulate, you are now leveraging a system. And we're going to leverage this concept, this new movement called consumerpreneur. What is it? A consumerpreneur is a committed group of individuals who consume a product or service, but this time with the intent of producing a profit. Oh, hold on. Wow, Dr. Breakthrough. That's good, bro. That's good. Thank you, man. I appreciate you, man. I'm taking you with me everywhere I go, man. I'm telling you. Let me say it again. Let me slow down a little bit because you need a consumerpreneur. You got to get this down. It's a committed group of individuals who consume products or services, but this time with the intent of producing a profit. See, we already are consumers, right? We got to consume. We got to buy water, right? We got to buy things. We're consumers, okay? So what about if we can just leverage the consumption? If we do it together, we get discounts. If we do it together, not just get discounts, we actually make money back. That's a consumerpreneur. preneur. Come on now. How many y'all like that? How many y'all ready to be? You're already part of that movement, but now you understand that that's a movement to be a consumerpreneur. And listen, you get paid a whole lot of money by helping other people to be consumerpreneurs. Look, you're already buying, you're already consuming, but if you consume over here with us, come on, somebody, you get better pricing, but not just better pricing, you actually make money. So again, what's a consumerpreneur? One, again, a group of people committed to buying a product or service, but this time with the intent of producing a profit. See, the only thing that changes is the intent, right? And then leveraging the system. So you have a system where you can circulate. Hello, somebody. You have a system that you can help others to be consumerpreneurs. Come on, somebody. And so there you go. So again, awesome. Is this helping anybody? Is this helping anybody? Okay, real quick. So again, the intent is to produce a profit. Because again, we're going to consume. We're going to buy shirts, right? We're going to buy clothes. We're going to buy, so we're going to consume. But this time we'll understand, because again, if we just keep consuming without producing, then we're down. So this time we're going to consume things that produce things. Come on now. That's what I call a consumerpreneur, a committed group of individuals who consume products or services, but this time with the intent of producing a profit. If you can see my screen at the very top, see, the consumer mindset is all about buying, it's all about spending, it's all about a purchase. It's like employee. See, there's something called risk versus reward, but the employee, our consumer mindset, they focus on the risk that they lose sight of the reward. So here's what they do. They take their money and they just buy stuff. But again, when you take your money and buy stuff, remember, money spent is gone, never to return. That's all in the blue. Let's go down to the green. The entrepreneur mindset or the kingdompreneur mindset. Of course, we talked about the consumerpreneur, but now I'm going to take you all the way to another thing, from not just a consumer, but a kingdompreneur. And that's a mindset of sowing. And of course, if you sow, you're going to reap. That's a mindset of circulating, a mindset of creating. So watch this. So again, the kingdompreneur or the consumerpreneur is going to focus on the reward, that you're willing to deal with the risk, especially when it's a calculated risk, calculated in your favor. So here's what we do. We take money and we buy something called assets. And that asset is something that what? Produces more money. And then we use that money to buy more assets. And then that money we use to buy the stuff. But we already have assets that keep making us money, that we buy more assets that keep making us money. See the big difference over here? You take your money, you buy stuff, and it's gone. And now you're broke, busted, and disgusted. But when you come down here and you use your money to buy assets, and the assets make you more money, you buy more assets to buy stuff. Now business can be booming and checks can be zooming. Come on, somebody. Is this good or extra good? Man, I'm getting happy over my own talk. So the consumerpreneur, committed group of individuals. And so I want y'all to use this term also. I use a term called success line. Everybody put that in the chat. Put success line. And success line means each of us empower the success for the rest of us. There you go, right. Success line. That means each of us empower the success for the rest of us. So a lot of companies, they have an up line and a down line. Well, that's okay, but see, what you have is so powerful, so unique, so new, so fresh. Scripture says you don't want to put new wine in old skin. So if we could use the term success line, and so what they would call the up line, or the people that sponsor us, we call senior success line. See, senior's not above me. Senior just got here before me. See, I'm Stanley C. Harris Jr. So my dad is what? Stanley C. Harris Sr., which, by the way, later on in life, I found out when my real dad lived and got a chance to meet with him, and actually got a chance to witness to him and win him to the Lord. And then he would show up a couple places that I would preach. I mean, it's just amazing, how God can turn things around. But here's what I'm saying, though. I'm saying this. Listen, I'm saying that you have something at your disposal that can just, but if you get it right, success line, each of us, create or empower the success for the rest of us. So let's try as best we can not to say upline. Let's say senior success line. Senior, again, just got here first. Senior's a few steps ahead. See, we don't look up to anybody or down to anybody. And see, some people have what they call downline. Well, how about instead of saying downline, how about if we say junior success line? So they're not below us, they're just a few steps behind us. You see the difference? Because see, if somebody's up there too high, we like, man, I can never make it like them. I just want to be, and then somebody's down there like, yeah, you stay down. No. So we're a success line. Each of us empowered to success for the rest of us. Senior success line just got a few steps ahead. So if we can reach their steps, we can be there. And junior success line came after us. Now we got to just reach back and help junior to make the steps that we've taken. And that pushes us up to senior. So now we're not trying to lord over anybody. We're being servant leaders. And man, that's what I talk about in my book, Kingdompreneur, a servant leader, my friend. And so okay, but I got to stop. Is this helping anybody? Is this helping anybody? There you go. Yes. Okay, sir. Yes. Okay, so consumerpreneur, you got that. You understand spending versus circulation, and you got a system that allows people to circulate. Why wouldn't they want to be part of this movement of consumerpreneurs? But then if you want to really kick in and make the crazy money, that's when you become a kingdompreneur. And a kingdompreneur, here's my definition. A kingdompreneur is one who allows God to provide through them a product or service to people for profit with pleasure to promote the kingdom while honoring the King of Kings. I'm saying it's kind of long, but it's good. I said a kingdompreneur, watch this now, is one who allows God to provide through them a product, service, or system to people for profit with pleasure to promote the kingdom while honoring the King of Kings. So, see, I'm not a religious person. I got a relationship with a living God. And so watch this, my friend. So in the world of entrepreneurs, you got to be sharp. An entrepreneur, you got to be networked, well networked, right? But guess what? As a kingdompreneur, it's not based on how sharp I am. It's based on how submitted to him I am. And now his power flows through me. See, as an entrepreneur, you got to be powerful. As an entrepreneur, you got to be sharp. As an entrepreneur, you got to be strong. As an entrepreneur, you got to be well known. But as a kingdompreneur, you don't have to have all that because guess what? He has all power. He's the smartest. Come on. He's the most well-known. So if I just like if I plug in something into the electricity, it's not about how this thing is. It's what's it plugged into. And when I plug this thing in, is that power, that electricity that comes through here. And guess what, my friend? So now I don't have to be super sharp, super smart, super anything. I just got to be submitted. And now God's power flows through me. So a kingdompreneur is one who allows God's power to flow through them to provide a product, service, or system to people for profit with pleasure to promote the kingdom while honoring the King of Kings. And man, listen, I'll tell you something. It's so amazing this way. Why? Because I was talking to somebody the other day, and they said, well, man, you're not really qualified to be having the success you're having. I'm like, look, God qualifies the called, and he's calling you and I to make a difference in this world. And one of the things I challenge people to do is to surrender to the calling to be a kingdompreneur. A kingdompreneur. We don't preach from pulpits. Everywhere we go, our life is demonstrating that the power of God can flow through us. Deuteronomy 8:18, but thou shalt remember the Lord thy God, for it is he that giveth thee the power to get wealth, that he may establish his covenant. See, the Bible says it's more blessed to give than is received, but you can't give from an empty wagon. So guess what? You've got to have some systems and some concepts where you can fill the wagon up, and then you can be blessed to be a blessing to others. See, I went from being a guy who needed cars. To being able to take somebody to a car. Do you know how good it feels to take somebody to a car dealership, say, pick out a car, and they pick it out, and then you pay for it, give them the keys, say, God bless you. I mean, don't get me wrong. It was okay just praying for them, but pray for them and now take them, and God speaks to your heart and say, you take them to the car dealership. Do you know what a blessing it is to be able to buy cars for people and vehicles for people, but then also to have a system that we can empower them to where we're not just giving them a fish, we're teaching them how to fish. And actually, in this concept, you're giving them their own pond. And you decide the size of your ocean. Oh, come on, man. The power of being a consumerpreneur. and then also to become a kingdompreneur, right? That, my friend, is the key. So my book has been changing people's lives. I don't sell books. I sell, get this, I sell results to people that are sick and tired of being sick, broken, tired, or sick and tired of just being average, and they're ready for a breakthrough. Are you ready for your breakthrough? Are you ready to go to another level? So here's what I'm going to do, Brother Bob. I'll close out now unless somebody has a question. I don't want to take too long, but let's do this. Can I bless some people? I want to bless. First of all, I'm gonna give them a free website. Some of them, I got a free training where some of y'all can get, right? Of course, you got this already, right? But I have what's called a daily attitude adjuster, something I speak every day to myself that keeps me on top side. I'm gonna bless you with that. But also, there's 5 of you, 10 total, but 5 of you, my friend, that this book is going to go to, and then some people who are visitors, some guests, you're going to be able to win, but some people that bought the guests. So, Brother Bob, how do we want to do this? And I'm going to put, while you're doing this, I'll put the website in there with the free thing. But and then if somebody wants to buy the book, but let's first give out some books. And if somebody wants to buy the